Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about the transit moon conjunct one's natal south node in astrology. Now, this is so about transits of the moon. They can involve emotions, emotional energy, uh, feeling, and sensitivity, and also nurturing and caring as well. Now, when you're talking about the transit moon conjunct one's natal south node, this could be about this emotional energy, the emotions, feeling, sensitivity, nurturing. Could be the past. In some cases, it could be about a past hurt that may maybe fester at this time, or say if this is an Aries, it could be something of an acrimonious nature, combative type situation. Some case maybe could be very strong assault. It could be something where you're talking about this as well, and as far as this transit goes, could also be something where we might feel like doing something we're very proficient. And remember that the South Node is not necessarily, I don't see it as all adverse or negative. The South Node can represent our overdeveloped qualities and attributes. It can be something that we're just naturally very good in. And if this is in Aquarius, it could be something something with computers, innovation, information technology, something with astrology, astronomy, aerospace, Scorpio. It could simply be about being very resilient and coming back from adversity, or something like with a Scorpio type field like locksmithing, something with the occult, which can include astrology, forensics, investigation, being very probing, going beyond the surface, and subterfuge. And also, this could be about also at the time. Remember that the moon. I mean, the moon is the natals. The south node could be about our past lives, if that's what you believe in. And also, the moon, it might be when the moon contacts the south node, it could be about becoming more emotional about, say a past life. I shouldn't say past life, things that we may have done, well, maybe in the past, and perhaps trying to leave it behind, and maybe becoming more emotional about it. Remember, the South Node is like our comfort zone as well. So naturally, it can be upsetting for somebody if they're going away from something that is connected, pertaining to something we're naturally good at that might have been in the past, but we need to go to the North Node in order to focus on where that destiny and mission and purpose is. Another thing too is that I keep in mind that this could also be, I mean, the South Node is also about, again, it's basically reiterating what I said before regarding, what were, overdeveloped qualities, attributes. It could be redundant energy. Uh, Say if you have the South Node in Virgo, it could be about hypochondriac tendencies, germophobia. Now, I don't know if germophobia is the right term right now, but whatever it is, when somebody's could be overly fixated and overly meticulous and careful and cautious regarding getting germs. And this could be a time too where you feel, and not feel, but sometimes this could be um, it could be a prominent woman from the past, maybe rekindles a connection with you. Say if this is in zodiac sign Cancer, it might be a Cancer sun, moon, or ascendant person, or one that simply embodies Cancerian characteristics and traits. This could also be a time to, in some very isolated cases, if I remember correctly. Some of you may remember when renowned game show host Regis Philbin passed away. And I'm not, might want to confirm this on the internet and search it. But if I remember right, the transit moon was conjunct his natal south node, or not, it might not be conjunct. It was closing in on it. Maybe it was making a loose conjunction. And the thing about it is, the moon can be connected with the soul in astrology. Sometimes This could be the soul leaving the person because the moon is associated with the soul. South node is what we are departing from, what we're going away from. So that is something, but that is very isolated. But in some cases, if there's other factors or elements in your natal chart or progress chart that might reaffirm or confer this, such as you have a lot of transits, progressions in the eighth house, the fourth house. These are things where sometimes this could happen. It can manifest in this way, but that's very isolated. And remember that this transit only lasts about 10 hours on average because keep in mind, I mean, for everybody uses different orbs for aspects. I'm using a 3-degree applying conjunction orb and a 2-degree separating conjunction orb for this transit aspect. So, and in 5 degrees, well, the moon moves on average about 1 degree every 2 hours. So that's so in 5 degrees for the moon, it's going to take about 10 hours on average to get there to that point. So anyway, now the thing about this is the family, people you're close to home with, prominent women may play a more integral role in something that you're very proficient in. Say if you have this, that you have your natal south node in Aquarius in your 6th house, it could be like computer diagnosis. Aquarius can be associated with computers. 6th house is the house, I would say, of analysis. It corresponds with the zodiac sign Virgo, so diagnosis. If you have this in, say if you have it in the 3rd house, it could be some kind of diagnosis with a car, something your vehicles, that's electronic, computer related, being in Aquarius. If it was an Aquarius in the 3rd house. Now another thing too, keep in mind too that the moon also is connected, can be connected with the public. So in the South Node, in a lot of cases, even though it's not all negative, it can affect the planet it's hitting to its detriment, I believe. Now, in this case, I mean, having this transit, it could manifest in the public, might affect you to your detriment in some cases. Keep in mind again that it's not a very protracted or sustained transit, but it's something where the public might affect you negatively. Say if this is in Scorpio, it could be due to some vengeful, jealous haters. Like Pisces or Gemini might be something slanderous and fallacious that might be said about you to get you in trouble. This could be something too. The moon is also associated with water retention. And the fact that it's hitting the south node, in some cases there might be some difficulty in it, whether it might be retaining too much or not being able to hold on to much for whatever reasons. And this is something too, I mean, say if this is in Pisces, it might be very nebulous and unclear these reasons. But another thing too, this could also be where you might be a little bit more emotional in terms of in things connected with trying to extricate yourself from the comfort zone. The South Node could be about what we feel at home, with what we're comfortable at. It's somewhat complacent energy, I would refer to it as. And when you have this transit, say for example, this is in Taurus, in the 4th house. This could be very simply about really trying to, trying to get away from having an overly comfortable, peaceful stability in your home life, which is doesn't sound like, it's something you should get away from, but it's for whatever reasons it may have to be emphasized less. It might, because you would have the opposite point of the North Node in Scorpio in the 10th house in that example. It could be about dealing more with crisis and upheavals, matters with your career and more the outer world as opposed to the inner world, your home life. Now, this is something too where, another example, let's say if you have this in Virgo in the 5th house, it could be where you're trying to get away from maybe critiquing or editing, correcting children, for example, or lovers, and moving toward the North Node and going toward the North Node in Pisces in the 11th house in that example. This would apply to me because I have these placements. And moving toward, going in that example, the North Node in Pisces in the 11th house, moving toward overlooking transgressions. and defaults of others, which could be Pisces being more accepting, more forgiving, and then of friends or acquaintances or people you might know in groups, clubs, or organizations, which is the 11th house. Hold on a moment, people. Anyway, also too, when we look at this too, when you have the transit moon contacting your natal south node, it could also manifest in very adverse, exceptionally negative expressions of the emotional energy. In Scorpio, for example, it could be very extremely intense, convoluted, turbulent emotions, even destructive ones. And also, the moon is about our nostalgia and memories. So you might be feeling a little bit more nostalgic at this time about something that you, quote, left behind, end quote, so to speak. If it's in Gemini, for example, in the 7th house, it could be about superficial relationships. And remember, anatomically speaking, the moon is associated with the stomach, the chest, the breast area, the left or the right eye, depending on gender. So those things might be affected adversely, though that on the positive side again, it is a rather short transit, about 10 hours on average. The transit, like if you had the opposite case where you had the transit south node making a conjunction to your natal moon, that would be a little bit longer, of course, but this is something that does not last very long. It's not generally going to be overly significant or serious. It could even be happening in your sleep. You might be thinking and dreaming about, I mean, the moon is associated with the subconscious, unconscious energy. And if you're asleep during this transit or most of this transit, it could be where you might be just, it might be some dream about somebody from the past, maybe about things that you're very, very good at. Maybe you dream about, what you believe you might have been in a past life. If you do actually, if you do believe this. So the thing is, this is well, in going back to having the adverse issues, perhaps with the stomach, given that the moon is connected with the stomach, the chest, the breast, left or the right eye, depending on gender. When it hits the south node, it could be something like in Pisces. It could be something with blurred vision or things. Might be if you have it in Gemini, maybe some double vision. It could be something like an Aquarius. It might, if it's an Aquarius, say, could be some intermittent kind of twitch of an eye. But anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.